everybody, Mike here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video review. So what are we doing today? Well, a couple of weeks ago I did a poll on LinkedIn where I asked people, what's your preference? Do you use a pen display or a pen tablet? Now, I use both, but to my surprise, something like 80% of all 3D artists uses a pen tablet. So basically something like this guy. This is the one we're going to be reviewing. Gaomon sent it to me. They didn't pay me to give my review. I'm going to give my honest opinion. I do like working with pen tablets, so we're going to unpack this guy, see what's in there, walk through the specs, and I'm going to show you how it performs when we jump into Maya, Photoshop, ZBrush, and so forth. Alright, here we go. Okay guys, let's see what's in the box. Now, like I said, we're looking at the Gaomon MK10 Pro. That's the model we're looking at. And before we open the box up, let's see if there are any obvious specs on the box itself. Let me just check that out. It says battery free, which is always good. Very nice foam padding in the box there. And yeah, MK10 Pro. Cool. We'll get that out of the way. We got a nice sleeve on the main tablet, and it is a good size, and I obviously like that. Don't want it to be too big, but not too small either, right? Okay, so that is that. We'll take it out of the sleeve. Well, as you can see, here's the main tablet. It has a nice slick surface. Hopefully it's not too slick. It has, let's see, 10 programmable buttons here, and it has this disc with a button in the middle, and this seems to be a way of navigation, but we'll see. Like I said, this is an unboxing, so it's new to me as it is to you, and we'll walk through everything and see what I think, right? Okay, so that's the main tablet piece. We'll put this out of the way. Then what else we got? Not sure what that is. Definitely textile. Multiple pieces actually, it looks like. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's a bag to transport your tablet in. So if you want to put it in, let's say like a notebook bag or something, it doesn't scratch. That's kind of nice. I've never seen that before. Right, what's this? This seems to be a kind of a sleeve for the pen, and I assume the pen's in here somewhere. Haven't seen it just yet, but we'll find it. Oh, here it is. It's on the side here. It has a separate box. Here's the pen. Here's the cable. Looks like we have everything, so I'll get the box out of the way and show you what we got. So we have the sleeve bag to transport, right? We got this guy, and that holds our pen. That's my assumption anyway. Nice size pen, and again, no batteries, no charging cables, anything like that, which is good. And then the pen goes in here, and then you have a nice travel pack, right? So other than that, we have the cable. So the cable going from the tablet to your PC. It has an adapter here, which is a USB-C adapter, just in case you want to connect the pen tablet directly onto your phone, and you can do that. And then it has a Android phone tablet connection manual and some other specs in here, right? I'm not going to connect it on my phone just yet, so we're going to leave that alone. I'm going to put this aside. And then we've got one more pouch, which is this guy. And the only thing missing so far is the extra nibs, and that's where there are. Extra nibs, and we have this little tool here to remove nibs if you need to. It's kind of a little clamp thing, right? So I'm going to leave those in here. It's a nice touch to have these pouches. Looks pretty neat. So that said, we're going to hook it up and we're going to get going. Now, the hookup is extremely simple because it's simply a matter of putting this side of the cable right here into the pen tablet, and this one in either your PC or your phone, okay? And then we'll jump into the software and see what we need to download and how it performs. Here we go. Alrighty guys, well, the hardware install as expected was super simple. Like I said, one cable into the left side of the pen tablet and the other cable into a USB port, and that's it, right? Now, I did open the package with the manual. There was actually more in it than I thought, and this is what's in there. There's a card where with the links on it where you can download the drivers. There's a quick start manual, and there's a separate manual how to set up for use with Android, okay? Now, what I want to do first is I want to go in here and download the proper drivers. So this is the path that it showed me, and let's go in here. We're going to go and look for the correct model. We have the MK10 Pro, and that is, let's see, MK10 Pro right here. Okay, cool. MK10 Pro, and let's see, Windows driver, that is the latest one on top right there. So we're going to download that. We'll wait for that to complete. And there we have it. We're going to right click, go to open. Click on yes. I got nothing running, so that's fine. Confirm. That shouldn't take too long, and there you go. Start now. All right. Okay, so it says that the MK10 Pro device is connected. Excellent. You can go to mouse mode. You can disable a nib if you want to. You can enable a Windows Ink. Now, let's first start by simply using the pen on the tablet and see what happens here, right? So will it respond? And as you can see, it clearly does. And here you can adjust the pen sensitivity, so the output versus the pressure, whatever you want. Here you can do a pressure test, thin line, thicker line, depending on how much pressure you add, and that's working properly, as you can see. And it has a pressure sensitivity of 8,191, which is kind of cool. Okay. Let's see, what else? We have express keys, and if I click on them, right now it says the top one is set to a mouse right-click button. And if I click on that, I can change it. I can change the name, I can put in what I want, right? And the same with the next button. Cool, what else we got? Let's go over here. This is basically the same deal with the buttons that I can program right here. There are quite a few, so it's a 10. This guy, not sure what the deal is with that one, but I'll look into it. And here it says enable wheel, so we'll sort that out when we're in the software, okay? And then here, language, English, auto start, and yeah, all good. Right guys, well, before we actually dive into Photoshop, let's go through the specs first, right? Because otherwise I might forget, and that wouldn't be good. So here is the website where you can find a little bit more detail. You can see that the pen has 8,192 pressure levels, which is cool. The price point right now on this guy is somewhere around 70 to 75 bucks US, and I think that's a very reasonable price. I also think from a perspective of similar pen tablets out there that this is kind of on the low range, right? So based on this price, if this thing performs anywhere decent, then it would be quite a good deal, I would say. Anyway, here's an overview of what it looks like. As I said, 10 programmable buttons. We have that radial dial and that button. I'll get into that in a minute. We have the pen that goes into a little sleeve here. There's no desk stand for the pen, but then again, do you need it? I mean, I don't necessarily. So if you're traveling with it, with the bag that they provided, it's pretty neat to put it in like that, so you don't lose it, right? Okay, what else? Yeah, so here's a front view. Yeah, looks good. Let's see what else. Multifunctional touch ring. Okay. Now, the touchscreen here is something that I don't hear a lot of 3D artists people talk about. It's basically a method to access certain menus and add certain functions to it. I wouldn't necessarily use it, I don't think, but I'll show you anyway what it is. And yeah, that said, it's all programmable, okay? Yeah, let's see what else. Touching supports Windows Radial Controller Protocol. That's awesome. Yeah, there was that setting in the setup where you could turn that on, and we went through that. Here's a video. I watched it. It's basically a pretty straightforward overview. And yes, you can connect it to an Android phone. Now, like I mentioned, the adapter is provided. You just put the cable on the left-hand side here, and it goes straight into your phone, and you can work straight on your phone if you so desire, right? Okay, well, if you consider buying this model, be careful because there are two different types of MK10s. There's the MK10 2018 and the MK10 Pro. MK10 Pro is, I would say, a little bit higher end, has a better pen, and has tilt support and that kind of stuff. So just be careful there, right? Now, as for the working area, in the PC mode, it's 10 by 6.25 inches, as you can see right here. And if you're working on your phone, then you see how this is grayed out. That would be the size you could work on, okay? As for the pen, well, first of all, battery-free, no cables, no charging, none of that. So that is absolutely awesome. It has two keys that you can program to your desire. Tilt control, as I mentioned. And it comes with that little nib thing. So if you need to replace one, you have extra nibs and you have the little tool. Okay, cool. Here's a good idea or a good indication of the size. It's a fairly decent size, and I just gave you the measurements. I think working in something like Photoshop, this would be plenty big enough, okay? Again, pressure points, let's see, 5080 LPI pen resolution, which is kind of standard for something that size, I would say. And other than that, let's see, supports Windows, Mac, and Android, and it supports a whole bunch of apps, including Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, and more. What else? You can work directly on things like Word and Excel documents, which is kind of cool. I haven't seen that before. Definitely need to try that out. Anywho, that's it for the specs. Let's dive into Photoshop and see what we got here. Okay, cool. Well, we're in Photoshop, as you can see, and what I want to do first is kind of see if there's any lag in the pen. So I'm just going to quickly move the pen around on the pen tablet and see what happens, right? So there's no jumping, there's no lagging, and it's quite fast. Let me just use that button on the pen here, the top button. It's set to allow me to change my brush size, so let's do that. Go back in here. As you can see, very, very thin, and if I apply more pressure, it gets thicker, and minimal pressure, good for, you know, hashing and that kind of thing. So yeah, that works perfectly. Now for that round dial that was on here, if I push on the button in the middle and I hold that, I get this, right? And then I can go in here on that dial and I can change volume. Let's say I'm listening to music. I can go to scroll, right? And now it's a scroll wheel. There's nothing to scroll here, but if I were, well, a little bit, but if I were in, let's say, Google, I could do that. I can zoom in and out, and I can go back, undo, right? Undo, there you go. So yeah, that's kind of what that's for. Not likely that I will be using it, but hey, you never know, right? Just so you know what it is. So I'm happy with it working fine in Photoshop. Let's try something like ZBrush, right? Here we go. Alrighty, well, this is my typical opening screen, and let's just go in here and see if I have enough space to move around on the pen tablet while working here, where my hand doesn't move off of it. It doesn't so far, so I can turn off Lightbox, I can go in here. I don't have to pick up or move my hand at any point, so that's good. And yeah, with this setup here, let's go to symmetry. I'll hit Control D a couple of times. Yep, that's some masking going on there. So no problem at all whatsoever. I can here again use that button on the mouse. Should be able to, there it is, yeah. Kind of need to get used to it a little bit. But yeah, it works absolutely fine. They're very responsive. Now, let me tell you what I think about the tablet, okay? First of all, I was a bit worried about the surface. It was quite smooth. I thought it might cause issues as far as jumping is concerned or skidding or whatever. That's not the case. The pen performs perfectly, right? It's fast, it doesn't lag, and it does what it has to do. As far as that round dial thing, I don't know. I mean, there are probably people out there that would use it. And as far as the programmable buttons, I like that because they're actual buttons and you don't accidentally touch them with your pink or whatever, and you got all sorts of functions jumping around, right? Now, the overall quality, I think that's kind of related to what you're paying for it. I mean, if this were a $300 pen tablet, I would say that you know, the quality is not up to par. However, it's more in the $75 range, and the thing is, that is at a price point where it's pretty much unbelievable they can make anything for that money, right? So if you are on a budget and you want to have a tablet that you can use for years, right, that will do its job, I think it's a good choice. If you are kind of expecting a super high-end quality with prime materials and so forth, that's not what this is. But then again, the price point isn't that either, okay? So does it pass as a pen tablet for hobbyists, for semi or even professional 3D artists? I think it can, no problem, right? Even if you're using it, let's say, I don't know, 8-10 hours a day. Will you upgrade from this at some point? Maybe, but then again, you didn't spend a huge amount of money, or you then have to go and sell it off to somebody and that kind of thing. So yeah, overall, thumbs up from me. I think it's a pretty little pen tablet, and I will certainly use it. Okay. Hopefully it was helpful, you guys. Like I said in the beginning, a lot of people seem to be using pen tablets instead of pen displays. So yeah, you might just want to get one of these. I'll put a link below. It's not an affiliate link. I don't make any money off of it, whether you buy it or not. That's up to you. But that said, thank you for checking out the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.